I'm Gab, he's Jules. Horrendous weather in West London.
Bad.
Dark and rainy. It almost made me not want to come back. But then I thought of you, Jules, and your smiling face. And I had to be back because there's actually a lot going on. Not just the Nations League, but managerial movements and whatnot. But let's start with England.
Yeah.
They beat Finland 3-1. What I'm finding interesting here is kind of the situation they're in. And then we're going to try to be helpful today, Jules.
Yes.
We're going to try to be helpful and offer our combined, 40 years experience covering this game, 60, 70, I don't even know, 80 years experience as fans combined, something like that, to try to sort this out. Because they're in a situation where they have arguably the most talented group of players in the world, other than perhaps France. I'd say probably other than France. I mean, we can debate it, right? But they're right up there. And yet, for whatever reason, things always seem to go wrong one way or the other when they get close. They're in a situation now where Gareth Southgate has left. They haven't appointed a new manager. You've got this manager, Lee Carsley, who seems to say one thing one day. So on Thursday, when they lost to Greece, and you can tell me all about that. I was happily didn't have to witness that. He said, well, it wasn't an experiment when he played the weird lineup.
Very weird.
When it clearly was an experiment when you play that lineup. And then he says he hasn't applied for the England job. But then he says he's open to the England job.
Yeah.
But then he says that England need a world-class coach.
Which he isn't.
Whoever's won lots of trophies. Which I can't work it through it. So help me.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute circus to start with, which is never too far from England in general. I know Gareth Southgate brought a bit of peace to it, but it's very often like that. I think the FA has created a mess in a way, the England Federation, because they know it was quite likely that Southgate would go after the Euros, so they could have prepared for it. Could have either plan A, Southgate stays, and a plan B, Southgate leaves. And instead, if you read the newspaper here in England, they said they still haven't interviewed anybody for that job. So they gave it to Lee Carsley for 3 international breaks, September, October, November. And in the meantime, they do nothing. So I'm not really sure where they're going. But it was fun to see them being ridiculous against Greece because of the lineup that it chose, which made no sense whatsoever.
Remind people who might not have watched this what sort of lineup we're talking about.
Yeah, because we discussed it with Nathan on Thursday morning, so the morning of the game, and we did say, you know what, sometimes a false 9 could be a good idea for this team because of all the talent they have. Little we knew that Lee Carsley will take this literally to the letter, even beyond the alphabet, by going with a lineup of Gordon, Saka, Palmer, Foden, Bellingham, all together somehow with no structure.
He's an attacking coach. Those are attacking players.
Yeah, that was quite a stupid
So basically
lineup.
it was Declan Rice with a back four.
Exactly. A back four that includes Rico Lewis, who played as a midfielder, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who played as a midfielder as well. So there was just no balance, no shape, no structure, and they got really destroyed by Greece, who should have won easily 4-1 or even maybe 5-1. After that, it was a little bit better against Finland in a more traditional 4-2-3-1 formation. Still not great, not very convincing, but at least they got a win.
Yeah, and even the Finland game last night, we're talking about Finland missed an obvious sitter.
1-1,
and then the goal that made it 2-1 was a Trent set piece, which is nice, but that's not coaching, Trent set pieces. I disagree with you a little bit, and I'm not just being contrarian. The World Cup is in 2026. That is some time away. Lee Carsley obviously has if you compare him as a communicator to Gareth Southgate, he will lose. Almost everybody will lose to Gareth Southgate. Probably not Jurgen Klopp. But, and we can't judge him by that. He's a football guy. He's obviously did well with the under-21s. Before that, we all know people at Brentford who employed him where he worked and he's very serious and whatnot.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I don't want to say he lacks Southgate's charisma, because Southgate doesn't have certainly traditional alpha male charisma. Is a different one. But he's a guy who has ideas. I don't have a problem with him trying something different, right? They're trying to say
but not that, Gab. That was too extreme. That was too silly.
But if he doesn't try it then, when is he supposed to try it?
Try it, but not to that extreme of playing those 5 attacking players in that way. It looked ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Right. We're going to delve deeper into this and sort of ask, who are they going to talk to and why? What's their process? What's their thinking? All of this on the Gab and Juls podcast.